Hi, I'm Brad Koerner, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through my process for standing up a solid marketing function for a B2B business. A few years ago, I oversaw the renewal of the marketing function of a small business that was looking to continue its 30% annual growth. And in this video, I'm going to go over the process that we used to achieve that. I think this video will be extremely helpful to senior leaders who might come from sales or operations backgrounds and don't have a strong internal sense of how to properly scope or structure the marketing function in their organization. So the first challenge I encountered was demonstrating to the rest of the senior leadership team of the company why marketing was a critical strategic function. Now, this might sound obvious, but most people's impression of marketing is basically that of a graphic design service bureau within the company, producing stuff like swag and corporate reports, or maybe pinch hitting for a really critical sales presentation. This is a very low-level view in terms of the added value marketing brings to companies. So I took a step back and talked with the executive team about the overall flow from the customer's point of view. The first thing we do is we provide customer inspiration, right? Case studies, projects, awesome ideas, thought leadership, cool products, anything that hooks a customer and gets them to think about our brand. Then they engage with the sales team that starts the conversation about how we can help them achieve their goals and those visions. Then if they actually convert into customers, then our team has to execute on those promises that we made throughout the marketing and sales process. Now let's look at the resources actually required to develop all that thought leadership, all that inspiring content that cuts through the noise, helps locate prospective new clients, and brings them in to engage with our sales team and what the sales team actually then needs in terms of its sales funnel, in terms of its CRM system, in terms of its tools for closing the deals. And then what does the rest of the team and the rest of the company need to fulfill the promises that we made? Once I made it plain how important marketing is to the earliest stages of the customer experience, I tried to get the company to think about the ambitions for investing in marketing. At the time, our company had roughly 20 million in annual revenue, but we were already competing with much larger companies that were up to 100 million in revenue. So our goal from a marketing point of view was to create the brand impression of a $100 million company, but on the budget of only a $20 million company. Champagne wishes on a beer budget. The next stage was getting our founder and senior leadership of the company to agree on the content strategy. We talked about 5 core content types. Now, our business was very dependent on case studies to inspire potential customers and for assisting our sales team in closing the deal. The next one was trying to reach through to customers that did never heard of us. And we tried to create some snacky social media hooks. We called it a series of tip for today videos that we tried to reach out to the customers' problems and issues and help educate them on what they needed to do, industry best practices, and how we could help them. We then decided that a mix of thought leadership would be very important. Now, this thought leadership we perceived of as more of larger pieces, maybe white papers, written magazine articles, conference sessions, so forth. We also knew that the company was moving more from a services and special projects business into more productized approach. So we knew we'd have to support a certain tack time of product campaigns. And then, of course, we had trade shows to support. Everyone agreed that trade shows would remain a critical way to reach prospective customers. So we had a 6th area that we had to support as a marketing function, and that was corporate communications, right? And this is kind of the grab bag of stuff that everyone in the company dumps onto the marketing department, from creating swag to holiday cards, to board of director meetings, presentations to special customers, and so on. So the next tactic that I took with the senior leadership team is to try to convince them that marketing could be managed just as routinely and process-driven as any other function within the company. And I tried to relate this as a factory for marketing. A factory can be managed as a continuous flow of product into the marketplace. Marketing channels have an insatiable appetite for content, but we had to get realistic on what we could reasonably produce. So for case studies, we started to say, well, one per month is about what we could manage. That would be a good one to introduce. Every month, the sales team and our channel partners have a new case study released to them. In terms of social media, we said one every 2 weeks seems a bare minimum in this day and age, with so much social media content is produced on an almost daily basis. It doesn't seem like a lot until you add it up and realize that that's almost 26 pieces of media content per year. Thought leadership, we reduced to only once a quarter. And again, we thought of that as more of a well-researched, well-structured piece. The product campaigns, we were talking with the product team, and we thought that we would have a tack time of one new product launch per quarter that the marketing function would have to support. And then a bit problematically is trade shows, because what happens with trade shows is they cluster around the spring and autumn seasons, which creates a real sudden surge in capacity needed by the marketing team. And then, of course, the final one was corporate communications, which was a non-standard grab bag of stuff. Everything was urgent, but not necessarily important. I think anybody would be hard-pressed to say that this was the highest priority in terms of marketing investment for return on that investment, but everybody demanded that their holiday card or their new employee introduction or their board of directors meeting or their corporate swag was urgent and super important at any one time. So this is something we just had to mediate between the marketing team and all the other functions within the company. So we know the content strategy and we know the quantity of content we want to produce. So what sort of team do we need to achieve that? We borrowed some of the concepts from lean production and we started to look at what are the essential processes we need to produce this content. So the first is copywriting, right? That's figuring out what we're producing, what the messaging is, what the key stats are, and so forth. We need graphics, we need video. In this day and age, video is essential for almost every piece of marketing. We need proper editing on that. Content has to look good. It can't look amateurish. And then we need to distribute that through digital channels. So you need someone overseeing that distribution on a regular routine basis. We need brand management as an oversight across that process. We need someone tying that together to make sure that all of the brand communications stay consistent throughout. And then we also needed someone that could manage the master planning and the marketing roadmap. Like, what content is the highest priority? How effective are we? Are we spending too much time or too little time on certain content, and so forth? Now, as a foundational support for all of that, we knew we had to develop some digital tools that were going to be beyond the internal capabilities of our team. And then as a special condition, we knew that event management for trade shows and special corporate functions was a very vexing problem in that it was a surge capacity issue. It required very specialized project management, a lot of detailed focus, a lot of nitty-gritty to make sure those events went off without a hitch. So then for the next phase, we knew the content strategy, we knew the quantity of content we wanted to aim to produce, and we knew the routine processes and methods for producing that content. But what was still missing was critical digital tools that we needed for ensuring all of that was successful. So we looked very carefully at what we were missing and we phased it. The first phase was building the case study database. Again, we prioritized case studies as the single most important tool for winning new customers and closing business. We needed to develop a database for storing and organizing this content. We needed to produce new content on the old case studies and new case studies as they arose. And we needed to deliver this in a visually compelling way. Then for the second phase, we knew we would need to land potential customers and keep track of their flow through our marketing funnel, right? So we needed better landing pages. We needed a better website. We knew we had an out-of-date website that we could not keep track of where the customers landed. For phase 3, we then knew once we had a great content and we had a great landing experience, we could start promoting us heavily on social media. So we needed a content calendar. We needed to get into social media analytics. We know we needed to get into some paid advertising and to learn what works and what doesn't work. The company strategically wanted to get into more product sales, and we knew we'd have to create the typical product web pages, spec sheets, and so forth. And we knew that the products systems that we were launching were highly configurable and that we would need some innovative tools on custom quotations, custom production data behind the scenes, and so on. So what do I mean by a factory for marketing? We wanted to take marketing from service desk for graphic design on an as-needed, urgent basis and turn it into a methodical process of content production. In order to do that, we created an ambitious schedule of content to produce, determined our standardized production techniques, and we set about to distribute that content through efficient digital tools and media channels. At this point, the team was properly structured. We knew the resources that we needed to bring in-house. We knew the resources we needed to contract externally. And we were off to the races. If this video proves popular, I might make future videos where we dive into specific topics such as campaign planning, which sort of summarized all of the content and production capabilities that we needed. We also dove into development of personas and refining those personas against social media analytics and completing that feedback loop between what we put out into the world and how effective it measured. So once again, I'm Brad Koerner. If I can help you or your organization strengthen your marketing function, I would love to talk with you. Thanks.